How do you improve digestion naturally? I get this question quite a bit because I'm a naturopathic doctor and I have patients who come to me with digestive issues, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, pain, all these different things. And they're wondering, how do I not take so many medications? How do I get off this antacid for acid reflux? How do I stop taking X pill or Y pill and prevent surgery and different procedures? Well, today I'm going to talk about 3 free ways that you can improve your digestion naturally by understanding how digestion works. So this is an atlas of human anatomy. So when we think of anatomy, the digestive tract, what has to happen to turn our food into energy, which is one of the most important reasons why we eat to begin with. We don't produce our own energy. We aren't plants. We don't turn sunlight and photosynthesize and turn that into energy. We have to get energy from our food sources. So digestion is critical for staying alive and staying healthy. So let's talk about what is digestion. Well, digestion, we take something like kale, for example, and we have to break that kale down into we have to unlock the nutrients and the energy within it. So how do we start to do that? Well, it first starts even before we put anything in our mouth. Have you ever gone to maybe your grandma's house, your mom's house, or maybe a restaurant, and you can smell the food cooking in the back, in the kitchen, and you can smell it and you start salivating a little bit. You start anticipating food. You can, if you've ever had, gone for a really good workout and you felt hungry and you could feel the anticipation of getting that food into your stomach, right? That is the beginning of digestion. Your mouth is making saliva to help you break down foods. Your stomach begins making stomach acid to help break down foods even more, right? So that's the first step to improving digestion naturally. Are you having that phase where you're anticipating food, right? If you go to the grocery store and you grab a bag of chips, something that you can just eat instantly, there's no anticipation for food. There's no build up to that food entering your system. Your body doesn't even know that, food is coming. We're not ready for this. So how do you start to prepare your body for food? And the first step to do that is really, we can call it chilling. We'll use the 3 C's. Chill. Are you in a state, the rest and digest state, where your body is ready for food? Right? What's the opposite of rest and digest? That's fight or flight. We call that the sympathetic state. When you're preparing for running from a tiger. You're in modern day life. It's sitting in traffic. It's checking your email. It's looking at your phone. It is eating while you're on the go. That is not the right state to be in for your body to digest food. So first, you want to make sure that when you're eating, you're focusing on eating. So the second C, chew. Are you chewing your food? Your stomach doesn't have teeth. Your digestive tract actually starts in your mouth. So you start by chewing your food to break it down, to unlock the nutrients so that your body can break it down and absorb it even further in your stomach and your intestines. So one way to check if you're chewing enough is, checking the toilet after you've gone. Number 2, checking your stool. And if you've ever eaten food and seen pieces of food in your toilet, you are not chewing well enough. You're not digesting and absorbing your food. So what's the point of eating anything if it's going right through you? And part of that can be improved and alleviated by just simply chewing your food. Chew 20 times, chew 30 times. Our ancestors knew this very well. My mom would always say that her father, my grandfather, would say, chew your food 20 times before you swallow. And whether that's 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, chew enough and be conscious of chewing every bite. So one way you can do this, one way to start practicing this, is when you take a bite of food, put your fork down. If you're eating something like a wrap or a sandwich, put the sandwich down and chew for a while. Right? Just be really conscious of what you are doing. And then you will find that you will digest your food better. You won't get that gas. You won't get that bloating. So simple. So easy to do. So the second C is chew. The third way to improve your digestion naturally is to choose foods that are easier to digest and not stressful on your digestion. So what does that look like? We know that eating whole foods is easier on your body. The whole foods are vegetables, fruits, clean meats, grass-fed beefs, organic eggs, right? We want to eat food as close to the form that it was naturally designed to be in. So one of the stories that I've read is someone took a McDonald's hamburger and had left it out just as it was for years. Years. It's what happened with this hamburger. You would think, okay, it would rot, it would mold, it would go bad, it will disintegrate. Well, nothing happened to that cheeseburger. Maybe it was stale, but it still looked like a cheeseburger years later. You know why? There are often preservatives, things that prevent the breakdown of these foods. And you can imagine if these foods weren't designed to be broken down, how well can you digest them? How well can you absorb the nutrients? And once I realized that, I haven't eaten McDonald's in decades, after I found out how really these foods aren't meant for human health, right? They're designed to taste good in the moment. They're designed to keep you craving more of these things. So where can you start choosing better foods? That's a whole nother video to go into, but just start being conscious. Do you eat most of your foods out of packages? Are you going to fast food restaurants on the go, and just kind of eating in your car mindlessly? Be a little bit more mindful of what you're choosing to put in your mouth. And then just notice patterns. That's also the other thing. When you're choosing foods, you can tell often when something makes you feel good or doesn't. The reason why I stopped going to McDonald's is because, sure, I like the taste initially. I like fries. I was so proud when I was 9 or 10, the first time I could eat a whole Big Mac. And I was so proud of that. But I realized over the years, when I ate this way, when I had Jack in the Box, I didn't feel good afterwards. I felt sluggish. I felt tired. Maybe I did get some gas and bloating. And you just start noticing these patterns. Well, your body's trying to tell you something. Choose different foods. So how do you improve digestion naturally? In summary, we have to understand how the body works naturally. What are the conditions that your body needs to digest food, to absorb it, so you can actually turn those nutrients into energy, into the very cells of your body. Because everything, that is the whole only reason why we need to eat. We can have, there's pleasure around eating, there's community, but ultimately we eat in order to live. And if your digestion is not working right, it is a very frustrating situation to be in. I know many people who have issues with just finding foods that they can eat, and in order to improve your digestion naturally, to prevent some of these chronic digestive issues, chill while you're eating, focus on eating, then chew, then choose foods that suit you. So, hope this was helpful. Click subscribe, leave in the comments which of these three that are you going to do starting today. And I wish you healthy digestion for the rest of your life, for a healthy life, and I will talk to you in the next one.